Hi, I'm here with Margot Edelman, lead of the global tech practice at Edelman. And Margot, thank you for joining us today. Would love to hear a little bit about your background and how you ended up in tech.
Absolutely. Well, so I've always been fascinated by technology. The way I really ended up in tech PR is that I moved out to San Francisco with Edelman in my mid-20s and really found myself smack dab in the middle of the tech boom. And it was just incredibly interesting. There was so many companies being started, so much funding going into the sector. And my sort of viewpoint was I want to be part of this, and I want to help tell the story of these companies that are based here in the Bay around the world. And I think what's so cool about my role right now is that's exactly what I get to do as global tech practice lead.
And could you please expand on some of the responsibilities for your role and what you're working on?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, part of it is staying close to the sector, what's happening from a technology perspective, coming to events like this to really sort of understand what's next. At the same time, I also have client responsibilities. I lead a number of our clients. I also work closely to understand who do we need to hire, how do we continue advancing the practice of what we do. And then I also want to stay close to the media. So, for example, I host a monthly Tech Meet the Media series where we talk to different journalists about sort of what they're focused on reporting on. Again, just so that we're really staying close to folks that we are looking to have sort of cover our clients as well.
That's interesting. I'm hearing a lot of PR people, even though we're in a tech space, talking about meeting and talking with journalists more in person and just keeping that connection going, which I do think is important.
Yeah.
As you're here, so thank you for joining us.
With the rise of LLMs, you can get any information you need incredibly quickly. So what's unique, of course, then having a conversation and having that sort of unique and inside information.
Yeah, I think people like that. I know I do. I was, also curious because you started in San Francisco and now you're in New York. What do you see as a difference, in the tech culture out there versus New York, in working, with comms and things like that?
Of course. San Francisco is all tech all the time, and it's amazing because you really get a feeling for what's next. Of course, right now it's the heart of the AI revolution. The two sort of hottest companies in AI, Anthropic and OpenAI, both of course headquartered there. But what's great about New York is that you really get a sense of how are these innovations actually pulling through with companies, with consumers, so you get a little bit more of a balanced sense of, okay, what's happening now? What's the adoption curve? Versus in San Francisco, it's really all about what's next.
Great. What makes Edelman stand out when it comes to PR and tech? What are you guys doing differently that
Absolutely.
Other people might not?
I think it's a couple things. First, it's really our global network. We really are, we have offices around the world, in Europe, in APAC, Latin America, and so really what we're able to provide for clients is sort of that point of connectivity. So you can have a single lead, that's based, let's say, in the US, but we're really able to take that message globally and really ensure sort of consistent quality of team and storytelling everywhere. So I think that's one thing that's unique about us. I also think we really do have sort of deep industry knowledge. We have someone who's our AI Center of Excellence lead. He actually was an engineer before going into PR. And so really staying close to the technology. We had an AI Center of Excellence since 2017. So we have really been in the space for almost 10 years now, learning about it and really working with clients in depth to sort of get that tech message out. And then lastly, I think it's really having close relationships with media, and that's not just traditional press, it's also folks in the new media world. It's creators, it's really sort of understanding what's coming next around how to get the message out. So I think that combination of those three really makes it a sort of us unique and also is a very powerful value proposition.
Yeah, the AI Center of Excellence, that's something that I haven't heard, a lot of organizations doing. So
and we've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's 2026. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What is your team focused on this year, differently from last year?
That's a great question. I think you'll hear this from a lot of people, but for the AI clients we work with, it's really about showing adoption and what's sort of the ROI. So it's really working to sort of quantify, in particular through customer storytelling, how is it working? How is it being implemented? It's not just about sort of the amount of money that's being raised. It's not just maybe even about the number of users, but actually what's the impact of the technology. So we're really working to tell that story on behalf of our clients. I think something else you just need to look around at what's at CES is physical AI. So how is AI being used in robotics, for example? That's another area that's super hot, and it's an area we want to focus on and get clients in that space or help our clients tell the story of that space.
Yeah, even robots need PR.
Exactly. Companies that make robots need PR.
That's important. That's one question I was going to ask. What are you personally hoping to gain from being at CES?
Absolutely. I mean, it's unparalleled networking, so you get to come here and just see a ton of people that you wouldn't necessarily see in one place, basically in the span of like 3-4 days. So that's great, of course. But it's also the opportunity to learn. I was just sort of touring around the convention center for the last couple hours and really got to see sort of whether it's automotive, whether it's in robotics, even in areas, frankly, like TV or hair dryers, you get to see what's next. And so,
did you see any robots?
I did see some robots. No, and it's cool. And so really, taking the opportunity to be here and learn, of course, in addition to the networking opportunities, is great.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And then obviously, we are in client service, so we are here, of course, with a significant team on the ground, on behalf of our clients and helping them secure press and recognition.
Great, absolutely. Does it seem to be more difficult or easier to secure press in an environment like CES?
I think what's interesting is that the definition of media is really changing. And so I think if you look at it from just a traditional media standpoint, that group is shrinking. And they're not necessarily paying for as many people to come to a place like CES. So, from that perspective, yes, it's harder. But at the same time, there's analysts, there's creators who all come here to really sort of understand what's next and sort of tell the story of technology. And so if you look at it from that perspective, there's actually a broader group to tell a story to. So we're very much encouraging our clients to think with that lens. It's about creators, analysts, and of course media as well.
Great. Last question. Any one trend you're seeing at CES thus far?
I do think robotics is big. And that's something, of course, that was spoken about in the keynotes, with NVIDIA and AMD. And that's something when you walk along the floor, you really see robotics is huge this year.
Great. I had a robot dog on my flight here. So
oh my gosh. Wow.
It was lovely.
You're headed to CES when there's a robot dog, or you're in San Francisco, one or the other.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Margot. We appreciate your time, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.